It's the 3rd of November, Election Day in America, and it will be a nightmare. Thanks to COVID-19, many millions more Americans than usual are expected to cast their votes by post. There are grave concerns that the United States Postal Service will be unable to handle the extra load. Both major political parties suspect the other side of mischief. Donald Trump says the Democrats are eager to expand voting by mail so that they can gerrymander remote balloting by encouraging voter fraud in Democrat-heavy zip codes and making legitimate votes disappear in Republican areas. Democrats, for their part, claimed that the new head of the U.S. Louis DeJoy, who happens to be a very rich donor to Trump, is making cuts to the service to clog up the system and stymie free and fair absent voting, although DeJoy denies political influence. Disputes and delays are inevitable. The row might even collapse the whole electoral process, meaning no clear result can be achieved. It could be like the bitterly contested hanging chads dispute between Al Gore and George W. Bush in 2000, only much worse. An even greater concern is that the tribal fear and loathing between Democrats and Republicans has reached such poisonous levels that any election result will be too toxic for the losing side to bear. In an effort to gin up supporters, each party has spent the whole election saying that America will be destroyed if the other side wins. Trump's supporters say he is Western civilization's bodyguard, the only man who can stop the barbarous radical left. Joe Biden and the Democrats, taking a leaf out of Trump's 2016 playbook, say that enemies of the state are occupying the White House. Some commentators hope that voters accept such rhetoric as the political equivalent of kayfabe, the professional wrestling term for staged drama that appears to be real. But if you believe that the 2020 stakes were actually that extreme, why would you accept the result? The concern is that the tribal loathing between Democrats and Republicans has reached such poisonous levels that any election result will be too toxic for the losing side to bear. Everybody knows Trump is not what you might call a good sport, even after winning the Electoral College in 2016, and thus the presidency. He claimed that widespread voter fraud had caused him to lose the popular vote. 2020, he may go further, especially if he loses. In July, when asked if he would accept defeat, he said, "It depends. I have to see. I think mail-in voting is going to rig the election." Biden has warned the public that Trump will try to steal the election. He added, "I promise you, the military will escort him from the White House with great dispatch." This narrative has received a great deal of focus in recent months. But what senior Democrats can't admit is that their party could end up being just as guilty of undermining democracy by refusing to accept another loss. Hillary Clinton has told Biden not to concede on election night under any circumstances. Biden has in fact already put together a nationwide team of 600 lawyers to, as he puts it, figure out whether chicanery is likely to take place. But there's a reason why, in any sport, the players are not also allowed to referee. Does Biden really believe it is the Democrats' job to ensure elections are fair? Or are the Democrats intending to do a little chicanery themselves? In the summer, an apparently bipartisan group of 67 political, military and academic grandees calling themselves the Transition Integrity Project gathered to wargame different possible post-election meltdowns. The very fact that such disaster planning exercises are usually conducted by the military says a lot about the way America's elite is thinking. When Democratic roleplay proposed that the Joe Biden campaign would encourage the states of California, Oregon and Washington to secede, all our scenarios ended in both street-level violence and political impasse, said Rosa Brooks, a former Defense Department official who organized the sessions. When the project's report came out, various newspapers focused on the havoc Trump might wreak if he lost. But an equally if not more alarming scenario turned out to be what might happen if Biden lost the election despite winning the popular vote. The Democratic team in the role play, represented by former White House Chief of Staff John Podesta, proposed that the Biden campaign would encourage the states of California, Oregon and Washington to secede. Team Trump stuck to their guns, and by inauguration date 2021 neither side was able to assume power. It was unclear what the military would do in this situation, concluded the report, ominously. Let's all pray this is all just nerdish fantasy. But when both Republicans and Democrats speak high-mindedly about the loss of democratic integrity while endlessly calling their enemy a cheat, it's hardly surprising that weapons sales are soaring. It might sound hyperbolic to suggest a civil war could break out, but 2020 has already been a year of plague and riots across America. The world's greatest democracy is having a meltdown. Now read: Kamala Harris embodies two triumphs over white racism and brown racial intolerance. How will Trump or Biden deal with Brexit Britain? Donald Trump may lose, but QAnon means US politics is only getting weirder. Let's block ads.
Show your love for him. Click the link in description. Thanks for watching.